Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Helen, head of Binance Charity and Dean of Binance China Blockchain Research Institute. And Helen, it's so great to meet you virtually, of course, for the Singapore FinTech Festival coverage. And what I would like to know is, give us an overview of the blockchain industry in China, as well as the vast opportunities surrounding APAC.
Sure. It's a great opportunity to be on your show, Jill. So first, talking about the blockchain, before we talk about China, I think it's similar like the rest of the world. In my personal opinion, currently, blockchain technology is still in the stage technology looking for application. And China is clearly one of the advancing countries that are actively exploring what kind of applications it could happen. And it is during this kind of opportunity, Binance actually with our global international expertise, we set up the Center of the Blockchain Research Institute, working together with the private sector and the public sector, trying to explore the vast potential of the new applications. So in this area, I think currently our role is very much on the research side, exploring for new opportunity. At the same time, we're actually setting up an incubator platform, welcoming you a lot of new companies, providing them financing and also international expertise, and also working with them on the early stage of the protocol examples, trying to set up some new examples, in the blockchain technology application side. We wish to explore to set up some new successful example, maybe that can inspirational to the whole industry's advancement.
And it can also help to grow sustainability efforts as well.
Definitely. Actually, 3 years ago, when Binance just launched, we very quickly set up the Binance Charity Foundation. The way actually the ultimate goal, we want to the blockchain technology to make the world a better place. And I really want to elaborate that idea, because if you look at human history, post the Second World War, globally, there's about 200 developing economies. But in reality, and from post-Second War to about like after 60, 70 years, there's only 2 economies actually moved from the lower income status to higher income status. That is South Korea and Taiwan. China likely to be the third one by 2025 or 2030. And out of those 200 developing economies, post-Second World War, only 13 of them moved actually from middle income status to high income status. Out of those 13, 8 of them are in Europe. The original GDP gap is small. The other 5 actually are the Asia for tigers, plus Japan. So if we're looking at our human history, the most economic transformation happened post-Second World War is actually come from the second industrial revolution, because industrialization in Asia creating millions of jobs for the people in the bottom of the pyramid. That is the jumpstart of those countries' economic transformation. And then if we're looking at the third industrial revolution, which is dominated by the internet, yes, we're celebrating the technological advancement. But if we look at the world globally, I don't think the world become a better place, because today 1% of the population globally holding about 90% of the global wealth. The poor are getting even poorer, the rich is becoming really richer. So now if we're in the year to really leading the fourth industrial revolution, and if blockchain is going to play in a very important role, I think, being a pioneer company, Binance, we want to think we have a social responsibility to make the world a better place, to make the world a more equal place. This is what the technology should work for people. This is something why we set up the Binance Charity Foundation. On day one, we want to bring the technology to looking at how we can support the bottom billion people. Technology should not just work for the rich people. We actually, on day one, we need to think it's not just about giving them money. It's about how to use technology, itself to transform their lives. This is why actually 2 years ago we were underground in Uganda. working with, the schools and also the women, we actually piloted the first stable token called Pink Hair token to support using blockchain technology to supporting young girls on sanitary pads. Today, if you are giving, $5, if you want to support a girl in Africa, there's no transparent platform. Make sure your $5 is 100% going to the end beneficiaries, because there's also a lot of intermediary heavy costs. But using blockchain technology, we set up the transparent and trackable platform, making sure all your donation is going to the end beneficiary, everything's trackable. And this is something actually also a stable coin model we actually pilot. So this is something, and also we're doing the free lunch project in Africa. So this is something during this whole process, the bottom billion people, while I was in Africa, I met schoolgirls coming to me saying, Helen, can you tell us more about this technology? I want to learn because it transformed my life. My stomach is getting full. I've got sanitary pads, I don't have to suffer like my older sister. So those are the things, people can really realize they benefited from the technology. So this is something very in the heart of Binance on day one. We don't want to become super rich to help others, even though we are very small at the beginning of our setting up. We want to actually to work with them to make the technology to make their life different.
Yeah, it's about closing that income equality gap. And it's interesting what you said about Africa. And I think the African fintech market is one of the most interesting places to be right now because it's an underdeveloped ecosystem. So with the infrastructure being brand new and being able to bring on hundreds of millions of people who have never had traditional banking, banking the underbanked, there's a great opportunity there right now.
Very much so, particular, in this whole thing, if I'm thinking about blockchain, in my opinion, internet, they offered free transfer of information. I think fundamental of blockchain, it should offer free transfer of value. But before we're talking about free transfer of value, there's no infrastructure, for the underdeveloped country. They don't even have bank account. They're unbanked. But actually, because the cost is so high, but blockchain is very efficient and actually cost efficient. So in this whole process, while we're piloting our charity project, we actually empower the bottom billion with crypto ID, putting them on the new infrastructure. I think in this new infrastructure, they can actually get donation for their lunches, for their sanitary pads, but they can also having the value to be transferred. So in this whole process, our vision is we want to build the fourth industrial revolution infrastructure for the bottom billion. This is also one of our mandate for our blockchain foundation. And I think this fundamental infrastructure building is very important.
Helen, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.